Hey YouTube, Stogie Farts here. Smoking my little Savinelli Bulldog. Inside is Boswell's No Bite Delight. So far, there's no bite, and it's a delight. Point one for corny joke of the evening. Alright, this is going to be a response video to Jay's question, have you ever met anybody famous? Yeah, I guess a few people. When I was a kid, I remember I met Mickey Mantle, the baseball legend, at some autographed signing. But growing up, you know, I used to want to be an actor for years and years and years. I did acting all through high school, won pretty much every award that they had for, you know, best actor and most things, most performances done and things like that. But and then in college I still did more acting and whatnot. But so during my college I had a brief run-in with Michelle Pfeiffer. I got to be an extra on one of her movies called Dangerous Minds, and there was one day of shooting that she was literally like this far from me for the entire day. And of course she's a big A-list star, you know, you can't just, extras just don't talk to, you know, Michelle Pfeiffer. So I did the next best thing. You know, during this day of shooting, after they had called cut, you know, and everyone runs up and starts doing the makeup, and the extras, you know, go off to wherever we went off to relax, I purposely walked right by her, kind of bumped her shoulder. It was like, so you're Michelle Pfeiffer. And I walk, and I'm not looking at Michelle, but I'm walking this way, acting like I'm not paying attention, and I kind of nudged her shoulder, and I looked back at her like this, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I kept walking. So that was my interaction with Michelle Pfeiffer. That was pretty cool. So I actually made bodily contact with her. And a funny story is, you know, years later, my wife, who was working as a sort of like as an RN in a pediatric clinic, Michelle Pfeiffer was one of the patients there who would bring her kids in, and so my wife actually got to talk to Michelle like conversations every time the kids came in. So here I was all proud that, you know, I bumped shoulders with her and said excuse me, and here my wife was talking with her, so I thought that was pretty funny. Couple other people. Some of you who are older perhaps may remember this person. I don't know if you remember the singer named Vanity. She was dating Prince for a while, and she was in a couple movies, few movies, Action Jackson and some other couple movies. Anyway, she was really big sort of back in the late 80s, I guess. But I was actually really good friends with her, almost like a brother-sister, you know. So I don't hang out with her so much anymore. This is back when I was really going to church and stuff, because she's a born-again Christian and she's an evangelist now. But yeah, back then, I mean, you know, I'd go over, you know, she was living with my aunt, so I'd hang out with her a lot, take her places and stuff like that. So she's sort of like one of those people that if you know her, you'd be like, oh, that's cool. But if you don't, you probably never heard of her. It's not a big deal. And I think the biggest person I know right now is MC Hammer. You know, most people know who MC Hammer is. I met him back when I was going to church. Actually, his family. Really good friends with his family, his wife, and him. They all live still right down the street from me. Been to Hammer's house many, many, many times. Watched many Super Bowls there. Funny story, I actually broke my nose in his swimming pool once. I was trying to show off a little bit, and he lived up in the Fremont Hills, and he had this huge pool with a big waterfall and rocks and stuff. And I remember I was trying to be a big shot, and I was going to do I don't know what the name of it's called, but it's like you're going to do a it's almost like you're going to do a belly flop, but right before you hit the water, you curl up almost like a cannonball and kind of land curled up. I don't know if it's called a suicide jump or you know, I'm going to call it the break your nose jump, because that's exactly what I did. I went like this, and right as I went to hit the water, I quickly curled up, and my knee, when I hit the water, jammed right up into my nose. I heard it crunch. I went underwater. I was afraid to come up because I knew something was wrong. And underwater, I kind of blew out of my nose, and it was just this big old cloud of red. And I was like, ah, crap, this ain't gonna be good. So I surface, and you know, sure enough, there's blood all over my face, and that was kind of embarrassing. But not as embarrassing as this next Hammer story. There was one year I was over there, excuse me, at his house watching the Super Bowl, and I had to use the restroom, and I basically, I said, Hammer, can I use your restroom? Oh, yeah, right down there. I said, yeah, I know. I went to the bathroom, and I flushed the toilet, and it started overflowing, and I'm freaking out. I'm going, oh crap, what do I do? I'm in MC Hammer's bathroom. I just took a piss. It was a piss. I didn't even go number 2. Yeah, it was number 1. And the toilet starts overflowing. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do, and I couldn't stop it. It ended up overflowing. The water got all over the place. Now imagine me having to leave the bathroom and go up to MC Hammer and say, excuse me, Hammer, I don't know how to tell you this, but I just took a pee and it's all over your floor. So, yeah, make a long story short, he ended up saying don't worry about it, and we took care of it. But that was pretty embarrassing. I didn't even think about that until just right now. Anyway, this video is getting kind of long. I think that's the list of quote-unquote famous people that I know or have met before. I did see Woody Harrelson once. I didn't talk to him, but he was at a place talking to a bunch of people, and I just was, didn't want to bother him. And there's probably a few other people in my mind, but, these days at me, I don't get caught up so much with people who are quote-unquote famous. It's not a big deal to me. It used to be at one point, but, I really don't. It doesn't really faze me. A lot of things these days, they just go in one ear, and I register it, and then it goes out the other, and I live my life, and that's it. So, anyway, I look forward to watching your guys' videos, and I will talk to you later.